All right, everybody, welcome to the movie club. I'm Ian Elliott-Carter,
Jeremy Branch.
and this week we are reviewing Dave Made a Maze. This is directed by Bill Watterson, and this was actually Jeremy's pick today. And
Yeah.
so please join along if you've watched this movie, because I have a lot of thoughts. This is starring Nick Tuning, a girl that looks like one of my ex-girlfriends, and an Adam Bush. So this is classified as a horror adventure, but I would call it a stoner hipster comedy.
I like hipster comedy for sure.
Let me give the premise, and then we'll give our thoughts.
Dave, a frustrated artist who has yet to accomplish anything significant in his career, builds a fort out of cardboard boxes in his living room. Who hasn't done that? Only to wind up trapped in a fantastical pitfalls and critters of his own creation that he's determined to finish because he's not finished with it. Ignoring all the warnings, Dave's girlfriend Annie leads a band of oddball explorers, very on the way, on a rescue mission. Upon entry, they find themselves in an ever-changing supernatural world, threatened by booby traps and pursued by a bloodthirsty Minotaur.
This movie right here, I did not know what, because you told me not to watch the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay. I just saw like the poster, and I was like, I know you're a very creative and out of the box thinker. So I knew this wasn't going to be the average movie. I thought this was going to be. I want to say this. When it comes to creativity, this might be one of the most creative movies I've ever seen.
All right.
That is a high compliment.
Uh-huh.
Because I want to look up the budget. I might look it up too for conversation.
I can tell you.
What is the budget? Because my guess is like $36. What is
close? So under $300,000.
Wow. Okay. Now this movie came out like 2018, I believe, or
2017 when it was released. I want to say they used like 10,000 square yards of actual cardboard to create the sets, which is a big part of this movie. So yeah, man, micro budget stuff. Mm-hmm. And when we started doing this this project, this film club, I thought let's kind of push the envelope. You know, Ian introduced this series with a very well told independent movie. It was called Bird. Y'all can go back and check that out. We all really enjoyed it, and I just really wanted to like step outside of what people conventionally think of when they think of movies and show something that, like, for me, it was almost like watching this movie was almost aspirational because like you mentioned, I feel like a creative person. I like to myself as being an out of the box kind of person. I feel the same about you. I mean, you are a creator in multiple different facets, whether we're talking about making videos, making comic books, just people who want to express that kind of stuff. Absolutely. And Dave Made a Maze, as you said in the synopsis, it's about a struggling artist who is trying to find an outlet for that creativity, and it kind of consumes him and consumes his life in a way to the point that it becomes like detrimental. And then it's like trying to reconcile how to like let that be a part of you without letting it totally destroy every relationship that you have in your life. And that was something that I identified with, but
definitely definitely a midlife crisis type of thought right there. And I'm gonna keep going with the positives too. Like, not only do I think this is probably one of the most creative movies I've ever seen, because like you can tell, like with the small budget, because I was being obviously joking with the $36, but $300,000 for a movie in general, that is very low budget. Like you can't do a movie with like less than $1 million, like anything nowadays.
Yeah.
So for them to use such a small amount of budget, and obviously probably sending the goons out there to collect as much boxes that they can, because they used real boxes. This wasn't no CGI. These were creative, like people making hands, making puppets, making everything, like origami type stuff. Like, I was just looking at some of the stuff that they had in the background. I was just like, that is very like I would love to make something like that. You know, just
there's this one shot when they go into this. It's like a kitchen. It's like a recreation of a kitchen. And in the foreground, closer to the screen, you see a coffee table with a flower pot set up in front of it. and it reads as a full-size coffee table that you could go and sit down at. And then the character walks from the background distance up to the object, and you realize it's only a matter of like inches tall. Like the forced perspective makes it look like it's actually filling out the room. It's like those little tiny touches that I saw it and I'm just like, oh wow, that's really neat. There's a lot of that in it. Yeah.
And yeah, you got to get creative when it's coming to stuff like that. And that's kind of like why I wish, like, as much as I love the blockbusters, I kind of wish they do bring down the budget. It's cool to have a limitless budget. Like, you could do whatever you want. I guess it's fuck you money, but like, it also kind of doesn't open up your creative juices when you do that. When you are on a budget and you are making things out of cardboard boxes, yes, you are going to get more creative than usual. You don't have to rely on CGI or some type of AI or whatever. Like, no, this is literally you doing what you have to do to make this work. And they made a whole different world. Like, you could tell this is probably filmed maybe like in a big warehouse or a gym or something like that, or like somebody's big house. But it's all cardboard. And like from the outside looking in, it just looks like something that you would make with like maybe your brother or sister when you're 5 years old, like a little fort. When you go in, it's like it's like a straight up school, or it's huge. It's a lot going on there. But yeah, that's the big positives I haven't got. No matter what I'm going to say after that, is like this is definitely the most creative movie I've ever seen when it comes to like making it work. And it did actually inspire me. Like, look, if they can make that, because this movie did get some good reviews, and it has I've looked, it has a little bit of a following too. For them to make that work, it says that me and you can make something work. You can make a horror movie.
Yeah, absolutely. There's another really cool shot when they go into it and they kind of tear down the first wall, and there's an eyeball that you're looking at, and it kind of like follows them when they move. But then when they go back behind the wall, you realize that like the pupil and the retina are actually set off like a couple feet from each other. So from this one perspective, it looks like an eyeball, but then it like deconstructs it, because, and that's the kind of stuff that like really moves me about this movie, is like just the way that the camera can trick us, and the way that from a certain vantage point, illusions are like solidified, but then from any other angle, they kind of fall apart. And that's kind of, to get meta with it, that's kind of the thing about movie making in general, is when you think about what's off of the frame, there's entire sets, there's people holding boom mics, there's big gigantic lighting sets and all of that kind of stuff, that like the illusion is to remove all of that kind of stuff from your mind. And when a movie works at its best, you're not considering the fact that it is all a complete illusion. But the fact that like this movie kind of, and it's not meta in that way. Like, it's not even about movie making. It could be about songwriting. It could be about any number of things. And this, it's just some guy building a maze. But I really like the fact that like, if me and you were to like go to this place, if there was an art installation somewhere that was this place, I would love to go and check it out.
Dude, I mean, I remember a couple years ago you were talking about buying a funhouse, was it? Or was
escape room.
Dude, if you bought an escape room, just like made it out of cardboard boxes, dude, it would make a killing. There's not one grown ass man or woman that would not want to go into a cardboard fort. I don't care how old you are. You could be in your 70s, you could be in your teens. Cardboard forts are the shit. And yes, as you were saying though, top tier cinematography, have how making like the tricks work of the camera illusions and stuff like that. I loved it. I love how it was shot. And so here's a little bit of notes I had. This is kind of like the Chronicles of Narnia meets Alice in Wonderland meets just homelessness in general, and and acid. All that in one. And I also wrote if this is what Craig was doing with those boxes in Friday, then I could see why he got fired. And I can definitely tell these actors also, like, there's movies sometimes you can see if people are having a good time when they're filming it, regardless of if the movie's good or not. You could tell these actors were having a good time making this movie. Have you ever watched a movie you were like, oh, this is probably like a hard time to watch, like hard time to film, like this is probably not good? Probably anything Quentin Tarantino or Scorsese, all those top dogs that are very, precise of what they do.
Yeah.
It's probably a nightmare to make, but they seem like they were having a good time. Here's a little bit of my critique. It definitely dragged a lot, brother.
It's an hour and 20 minutes, and the shit feels like it's 3 hours, bro.
I'm glad you agree with me that, because like I think I looked at the time in the movie like 3 or 4 times, and I was like, halfway done. Like, as much as I like the creative choices, as much as I respect, how inspiring it was, there's just times I'm like, okay, get to the point. I get it. Versus a maze, it's supposed to be funny, quippy. Well, get to the point. Where are we going with this? Like, I literally looked at the clock and looked at the time frame like 4 times. Like, come on, this is dragging a lot.
Yeah, it is. Again, it's 80 minutes long, and it definitely peters out at about 40 minutes. It's like there is almost there's no narrative thrust that makes you want to know what's going to happen next. It's like, it really, it is a slog, man. Like, and that's unfortunate, because I think you spoke to a bit of it. Like, there is so much, like, from an imagination perspective. And when I kind of say, like, if it were like an art exhibit, like an installation where you could go and actually interact with the stuff, that would be a lot more fun than watching a feature-length film for it. I think it would have worked way better as a short, but I know you got more notes, so let's go.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. And to piggyback on what you said, like, this is literally like a 5-year-old putting their pencil to paper and onto film. And then, like, I mean, as much as you said it too, like, this would probably work as like interactive theater. Like, if you made like a fake fort like that, and you're just walking through each scene, but you're having these actors play these parts, like, oh, we're stuck in the maze, what do we do? Oh, it's the Minotaur, run, that would be very, very fun. I'm surprised they didn't think of that. Like, somebody should reach out to them and be like, yo, you guys could keep making money off of this if you would make it like interactive theater.
One of the funniest scenes in the movie is the vagina, the vagina that like possesses like people.
Yeah. One of my notes was like, I was gonna ask you, would you have grabbed for it? Would you have lost that hand?
Every single person, as they come to this thing, and it's like the ultimate distraction. They're just there's a gravitational pull to it. That is very funny. And they're like, don't touch it, don't mess with it. It's gonna screw you up. That was one of the funnier gags in it. So yeah, like I really thought that joke went good. Yeah.
And I mean, I like the puppet scene. I like the puppet scene.
Love the puppet scene.
I kind of saw that. I love the puppet scene, but there's like, as weird as this sounds, because this is a very weird, like, fever dream type of movie. As weird as this sounds, I kind of saw it coming. And how do I see puppets coming? Like, it's just one of those movies where, like, it's so weird. Like, I guess my weirdness is connected to their weirdness, and I kind of see where they're going with it. And that's another one of my gripes, is like, as creative as it is, it's kind of predictable. And that's not a good thing.
Interesting. See, okay, look, follow me here, man. We talked a little bit about how it is too long. If Troy and Abed made a maze and it was a 30-minute episode of Community, it would have been one of the best episodes of Community that there was. Because Troy and Abed have kind of been established as those kind of characters. You'll get like actual Muppet episodes. In this, they're actually like paper bag puppets, like the little small liquor bags. And they make all of the characters with it. But when I watch this movie, I'm like, man, this would have been a great episode of Community, because then it wouldn't have overstayed its welcome so longer. And I think
even Always Sunny too,
done better.
Yeah, Always and Sunny probably could have pulled this off as well.
Yeah.
I definitely get it. So yeah, I think we're both in agreement. Like, maybe this could have been like a shorter film, or like maybe a straight to TV thing. But the more and more I think about this, though, like an interactive, like, play of this, like interactive, like move, like what do you even call those? Like, just interactive, like walkthroughs, I guess. I think
art installation is what I would call it.
The time of my life.
Yeah, man. And I really do feel like that was almost the creation of it, because it's like this art troupe over in LA, like a group of hipsters, for lack of a better word, that all were like we're going to pull our resources. We're going to make this thing. And I feel like the making of the thing, and like you said, being on set during the production, during the like crafting of all of this stuff, it seems like it was a really cool experience. They just weren't able to pull off a feature length movie with it. And in a way, I think that failure is interesting. And that's kind of what I think the discussion about this is like, how do you even define what a good movie is? There's a lot of things that work really well about it, but I don't think the acting and the characterizations do enough to like make you care about any of them. Like there's not enough depth to any of the characters' performances that you like. I was never invested in it.
Right. I mean, there's funny parts. Like I was actually going to say this. I just remembered this. Where's the beard? What do you say? He's like, where's the beard at? It's on my face. That was pretty funny. I like that. That's like something I would say to my boys. But other than that, like I felt like some of the jokes did like they didn't land much for me, especially coming from a comedian. Maybe. And this is my prediction too. Like, and if it is, it is. It definitely feels like it's a first time director's type of movie. But I feel like a lot of this might have just been improv. And like, you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
You might be onto something there. I would not be surprised at that at all. And Nick Thune is the only person. I haven't like done a lot of research into who each of them are. The girlfriend looks familiar, Mira Rohit Kumbani. And it looks like she looks like a girl I dated in high school. That's what blows my mind a little bit. And that is the other reason why I picked this movie, Ian. Have you talked to her lately? You need to reach out, reconnect. I'm sure Toddy would appreciate that.
Definitely not.
Apparently she was in the TV show This Is Us. So like she's had a couple of little small roles and things. She's a voice actress that was in Marvel Rising, which I guess is a TV miniseries. She was in the Mindy Project. So she looks like she's done a little bit of stuff, but it just never feels like the acting never feels real. The Minotaur, as far as being like a threat, it's kind of dumb. It's just some like muscly dude with a big paper mache head on that like kind of runs through the scenes every once in a while. And then the character, the high five chick got old real quick too. Man. Real quick, bro. That almost threatens to just derail the entire movie. It kind of did. It's tough.
It was tough, bro. I was like, again with the high five shit.
Yeah. So one of the girls gets, I guess, possessed by the maze and becomes like a paper mache version of herself, and she's almost like the.
And again, that was cool. Like that creative choice, that was awesome. That was 100% like real, like cardboard box person. That was cool. Yeah.
But they just milk the joke or whatever it is. That scene goes on way too long where they're kind of trying to understand the motivation of this being that is overseeing the entire thing. Something that is kind of cool about it. Like there's a lot to appreciate about it. And like the labyrinth is a very popular Roman or Greek myth of the Minotaur. So like pulling from these very classical romantic period drama that like legends that everybody knows and kind of turning that into something is admirable. It's cool. Like you can see the how that would appeal to people who are into like, again, art, theater, that kind of stuff. It just never really is the sum of its parts, man. And I was kind of curious how you were going to feel about it. I think that was like, it's a thought experiment, right? It's like,
for sure. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, as much as I like, because I had to be a objective film critic when we were talking about this. So yes, the dialogue didn't hit for me. The story kind of drug. The characters, you know, like you said as well. So I 100% agree. I didn't get attached to them at all. Every time there was a death, I was like, cool. You know, it was just like, you know. But again, I respect the artistry of it. I respect the different approach of filmmaking and just the creativity of doing what you got and using what you got and doing something differently. So like, how do you even rate something like that? Like you respect the film, the cinematography, you respect the creative choices, but you're just like, but the director could do a better job with the storyline and the dialogue and stuff like that. And if you are doing all improv, yeah, you probably should rehearse this a little bit more. Like maybe go do this a little bit longer. So like, how do you even like review a movie like that? Like you respect one thing about it, but you're just like, I gotta be honest though. Like you could have done better with this.
Yeah, I think that's the question, right? And I think that's even
and that's why I love doing this, and
like,
I'm glad you picked this movie because this is the type of stuff I like. I like to have the devil on my shoulder and the angels on my shoulder. I like to be torn. I don't like to have a straight up answer, and I appreciate that.
What are like a movie like Wicked versus Anora, two movies that came out last year that were super beloved. They were both nominated for Best Picture. How does one even compare those two things? And I always think that's interesting when we do rate movies, when we rank movies. Like my buddy Julio meticulously ranks out movies every year so that he has a top 10 list, and he changes the positions of it throughout the year, and it's his certified top 10 at the end of the year. And I struggle so hard to do that because I do think that art is so
very
subjective, interpretive, serves different goals. Like sometimes it's meant to appeal to this side of us, sometimes it's meant to appeal to that side of us. So I say all of that to say this is a really hard one for me to give a score to as well. But when you're ready to get into that, you let me know.
Yeah, I'm ready to get into it now, man. The thing about this, I feel like as well, is there's some art that you don't need to watch again. Like there's some art like movies and music that I'm just like, I like that a lot that I don't want to watch that again. I'm trying to think of a good example. Everything Everywhere All at Once. I feel like I've told people that it's like one of the best movies I've ever watched. I've only watched this movie one time. And I think maybe I will watch it again, but I just never had a drive to watch it again. I just saw Sinners though. I actually want to go back to the movie theaters and see Sinners, but I feel like Everything Everywhere All at Once was probably a better movie, but I just have no drive of seeing it again right now. And it's just weird like that. This movie, I feel like I will probably never watch this again, but I will always like praise the creative choices that it made because I've never seen anything like this before. So I'm going to give, just for creativity, like 100. And then it's going to go down 5 points for, the dialogue, the script, the characters, all that shit. It's just going to go down. So I'm going to give it a solid 5. And honestly, if it wasn't for that creativity, it would be a lot lower.
So to say that my 5 is equal to your 5, I think is interesting because I think I will give it a 5 as well. I'm going to go 6 because I'm giving it just on the side of a recommendation. Obviously, I recommended it for us, but again, more almost for like getting a reaction from you. I was hoping to hear what Alex would say about it.
Yeah, I was too. Yeah,
we'll catch him next time. But
we'll catch him next
that
time.
said, I will. I've seen Dave Made a Maze probably 5 or 6 times at this point.
What draws you back? So that's what I want to ask you. What draws you back to this? Because there's a lot of movies that I can acknowledge are not the best movies, but I like to rewatch them. So what about this movie like speaks to you that you want to rewatch it?
It's not challenging. It's not, there's no like emotional stakes. Like some of the best movies, I don't know, just pulling it out of the air, Schindler's List or something like that. It's really heavy. It's almost, there's a tax that you pay because you have to be super engaged and grapple with the themes, and those are heavy themes, and it's dealing with dark subject matter, and I appreciate those movies and I love those movies. But if I'm just wanting to put something on and engage with it, I would prefer something that's light, that I don't even really have to pay attention to. So in the way that it's kind of an art installation, in the way that we kind of have praised the aesthetic of it, I think that there's just something about having it playing that is kind of comfort food to me. And I don't really even need to have the audio on. I just love some of the kind of sets in it so much that I'm like, man, I don't mind spending a little bit of time in that world. So that's what it is for me.
Okay. I respect that. And I think
Yeah.
I can relate a lot to that. Like, for example, Back to the Future has that for me. You know, Back to the Future is heavily praised as like one of the best movies ever. I can understand that, but to me, there's something about it. Just like I could literally put it on in the background and just like do work or just go to sleep. It's just like it is a comfort movie for me. Like regardless of it, what people would feel about it or not, it's just I understand what you said by that. I definitely get it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is our review of Dave Made a Maze, and I'm gonna say this as well too. If you are a fan of film, if you are a fan of movies, and just how things are shot, and then just the creative choices people make, definitely do recommend it. Now, if you're just a casual movie watcher, just like you're just waiting, you want excitement, and I'm probably not going to recommend this for you because you're going to cuss me out later. You're going to be like, what are you smoking? Are you on crack? You need help. This was originally supposed to be an intervention for Jeremy because I thought he was on drugs when I watched this. But after evaluating more and more, I'm just like, this is exactly why I did the movie club. And I appreciate you understanding why I did, because like I don't want to continue watching these blockbusters. I want to be put on something different. And this is exactly why I did it. So I respect that. Red, right. And hopefully Alex will be back. I think he's having a problem with Wi-Fi. He's in Mexico on his honeymoon, so understandable. So we'll forgive him this week. So, all right. Check you guys next time. Peace.
Leave it to you, Ian.
Are you a homosexual, Ian?
Hey, Ian.
Ian's here.
Ian.
Ian.